All right, thank you all for joining today for Hubbell wiring device training. If you guys don't know me, I'm Shane. I know I've met a lot of you guys. I'm the new I'm the new Hubbell guy in the area. Madison is my account, and this is my counterpart, Brian Pfeiffer. Brian's been in the market for many years now.
Yep.
Um,
17 with Hubbell.
Yep. So I'll be the main guy for Madison, but Brian's my partner. We kind of do everything together. So if I'm not available, Brian will be happy to help you guys out. So
Yeah, I cover standard. I'm a little more. I'm muted. I'll unmute it.
you good now?
Yep, I'm good.
Yeah, we're gonna do some wiring device training today. Start off with our, I wouldn't necessarily say they're new at this point, but our InReach cord reels. We're constantly innovating, trying to figure out different markets that we can target with these. The product is ever evolving. But this is our new InReach cord reel. It's a cast aluminum enclosure, so it is much lighter than your standard cord reel. Big thing to know is we go 25, 35, 45, and now we go up to 90 feet lengths. A lot of your customers have been asking for longer cord reels, so we figured out to house them and get as long as we can possibly go. So we go up to 90 feet now, 10, 15, 20, 30, now up to 55 amps. So if you have any customers that have, say, portable welding machines that they want to plug in and move around, we do have a cord reel that goes up to 55 amps now. What's nice about our cord reel, a nice selling feature that I like to talk about is our easy mount bracket. So it's the middle, I need to talk into the mic because I keep forgetting that we're on Teams. But the middle cord reel picture, you can see that bracket up top. It's nice. It takes a two-person job and it turns it into a one-person job. So say a contractor's mounting these brackets up into the ceiling, they take that black bracket, you can screw it up into the ceiling. So instead of one guy holding the reel up and then the other guy screwing it in, you can go up, mount that bracket yourself, then you take your bracket and you slide it into that mount. So just a nice feature that we like to sell. A lot of our cord reels are pre-configured. So if you want a GFI on it, you want two receptacles on the end of it. If you just want a connector body on the end of it, most of our cord reels, we do have a part number. It's just one part number and it comes pre-configured. If your customer just wants to buy a reel with wire leads and put whatever they want on it, they can do that as well. We also have a weather resistant or weatherproof cord reel. It's type 4. None of our weatherproof cord reels do have end effectors on them, just so you guys know. But if you guys ever reach out to me for a quote, I'll put the cord reel on there, I'll put the bracket on there, and whatever ends you want on it, I can also add that to your quotes as well. So, Brian, anything I missed that we could add?
Not on that, no. I mean, you're going to see quite a bit of this now. We've gotten really pushed hard in the spec community. So, most of the school jobs that come out will come out with our cord reel spec exclusively. And that is on about 90% of the school jobs that come out, whether it be universities, high schools. So it's really taken off. And like he was saying, that the bigger thing, the weight hanging these things are like 42 pounds now, and they used to be 82 when they were steel. So it's really cut down on it makes it much easier, and the bracket makes it much quicker for the contractor. It's worth the little bit extra money for each cord reel to get the brackets. Yes. Yep.
So if you guys, I don't know if you guys are all on Hubbell Connect. If not, I'd be happy to send you guys the sign up info. It's really nice. You can type in the part number, click on the part number when it comes up on your price and availability sheet, and it will show you everything from spec sheets to warranty to anything that you could possibly want to know about that specific part number. It'll come up in that system.
It's much more in depth than using Distributor Corner. Distributor Corner is nice if you're going to do a submittal and you want a whole bunch of them. But if you're just looking for one thing, Hubbell Connect is the way to go, because when you click on the part number, it brings up everything you can imagine. There's BIM models for engineers, there's catalog pages, there's everything.
Yeah. So going along with our cord reels, we had a lot of schools that were reaching out to us because the cord reels in a classroom with a drop ceiling just didn't look good, especially if you had, 10 or 20 in this room. Just those reels, they're a nice looking reel, but when you have that many, it's just a little bit of an eyesore. So they're asking if there's anything that we could do to hide them a little bit. So Hubbell came out with a plenum rated enclosure. It's the only UL listed plenum rated enclosure on the market. So essentially it replaces a ceiling tile. So you take you take this box, you take the tile out, install it up into the ceiling, and then you mount your cord reel into the ceiling tile. And there's a little hole you can see in there where the cord comes out. It's just a nice looking, I think next slide we have it. There's an example of what it looks like in this education facility. This is a motorized cord reel page, but that's just an example of what those boxes look like. So hospitals, the big one's been education. Something for you guys to think about when you're going and talking to your customers. Just something that we have. Generally, you're going to see it on specs, just like the actual cord reels. It's just a nice solution. It makes everything look nicer. It really just depends on the customer, if they want it or not. But if they want it, you're generally, like I said, you're going to see it on a spec. So just remember, Hubbell has the only UL listed plenum rated enclosure on the market at this point. Which then leads into the next slide. We're going to continue with the cord reel theme. We just came out with a motorized cord reel. So a lot of big box stores were asking, say Costco, they're reconfiguring their stores all the time. A lot of times they'll have, your coolers that you have to plug in. They want to move it. The issue was they had these cord drops. They were just sitting down from the ceiling, and it was hard to get up in a lift and move them around. And if say you had a cooler right here that you had plugged in, and then the next week you want to move it over to the other side of the room, you don't want that cord just sitting there for customers to come and play with. The issue is the ceilings in those buildings are so tall, so it's hard to take a cord reel and adjust it without getting a ladder or a lift. So what we decided to do is we created a mechanism in our cord reels where you can wire it up to a switch, and you can just take your switch, hit your switch, and bring your reel all the way up to the ceiling, or your end effector all the way up to the ceiling. Again, the big spot where Hubbell saw the opportunity with this is big box stores, but what we've realized over time is your industrial manufacturing plants, warehouses, there's a bunch of different places that could use this type of reel. So my thing is, just ask about it. Hey, there might be an opportunity for it, so it doesn't hurt to ask. Got anything?
No, especially that. I mean, a lot of times they'll think, well, we can't use cord reels because the ceiling's too high. Well, sure you can. And, this makes it a whole lot easier, especially now that we have the longer cord lengths too. They can actually keep it up even higher and get a longer cord length on it.
Yeah.
It's a nice option.
Any questions on cord reels? Edge. So I'm pretty sure all of you have heard about Edge, but we're going to keep talking about it because this is a big push for Hubbell, and it's a great technology that I think can benefit really all of your customers. So Hubbell came out with that. So what Edge is it's a screwless terminal. It's someone's already calling about it. It's a screwless terminal. So there's a clamping mechanism inside of our device. You insert your wire. This one's already done. Brian will show everyone. So you insert your wire.
Yep.
There's little holes in the back of it with plungers. You insert your wire into that hole.
Yep.
You hit your plunger, and it's terminated. So we originally came out with this for a manufacturing facility that had a lot of heat fluctuation and vibration, and there was a lot of strand relaxation, and they're having to continuously go back in and re-torque down their screw terminal devices, which ended up just becoming a pain for that customer. So Hubbell decided, hey, let's figure out a way to completely eliminate this headache for them, which is when we came out with Twist Lock Edge. So when Brian terminated that device, it's at about 45 pounds of pull-out force, but over time it goes up to about 70, which is what our study showed. So instead of the strand relaxation, and those headaches with that, it actually gets stronger over time. So it's a much better termination. And while we made that, we realized, hey, this is a great option for someone who wants to install these a heck of a lot faster than what they already are. So the feedback that we've gotten from the industrial community and the contractor community is they think they could probably wire up about 4 of those for every 1 screw terminal device. So if you want a better termination and a faster termination, this is a great option. So like I said, we came out with these in our twist locks. Should probably go to the next slide.
Yep, like this. I'll show you that. So if you want to take it back out, you just get a little screwdriver, put it in, and it comes out.
So you
Pull it
can
up
take
and
your
it comes out.
screwdriver or, an electrician, they have needle nose pliers for their wire snips. You can take those and just pull that plunger out. Twist locks are a little bit harder to get out, but it's not too hard. Yeah. So
Yeah.
the twist locks actually in their package, they should come with a little bridge that you can put on the back of the device that will give you some leverage.
Yeah, these still aren't too bad though.
But the
I mean, if
Great
you
Blade
just put it
devices have a
through
built-in bridge for it.
like this, that's it, and it comes out.
Super.
Or you can take a paper clip and move it through.
Yeah, you could.
Mhm.
You can
There's a
very well.
screwdriver if you want to play with it.
So Hubbell originally came out with these in our twist lock devices. The receptacles, connectors, plugs. And we've continued to develop this line. So we now have duplex receptacles. So anywhere from our light commercial grade all the way up to our heavy duty industrial grade devices. Plugs, connectors, like I said, receptacles, and we also now make switches in this. So our toggle switches and our decorator switches. So pretty much almost every type of configuration, we probably have an Edge at this point.
Yep.
Any questions on Edge?
Why is it so bulky on there?
Because of that, if you see on this slide, we had to fit this whole mechanism in the back of that device. So it causes you to.
I was gonna sell one, I had a couple yesterday to sell, but the guy. Unfortunately, already had a box in the wall, so. One of the 2710, all I had was the Edge one,
Mhm.
but it was so bulky that, it wouldn't fit in a regular standard box.
Okay.
It had to be forest deep or something like that, forest deep box.
Okay.
Yeah, the standard, the standard receptacles, that really is minuscule. I mean, they're very, not much at all. No. The twist lock, where you really run into it is even after it's terminated, really what the difference is that, yeah, see, the biggest difference is actually even after it's terminated, this is your difference. Yeah, this is the same. It's the exact same depth as the old one, but you're adding this in. So when you get into on the receptacles like that with the female and male cord ends, there's no difference. So everything's inside the back of the connector. So
Yeah.
They're the same size.
Any other questions on Edge?
I think I have some.
So like I said, big push for Hubbell. It's a great solution, but you do have some situations there where the bulkiness sometimes gets in the way, but generally you don't get too much kickback on it. So
Yeah. See, this is the connector is the same size as the other one, and it's got the edge. So there's no difference there. It's just in the receptacles. Yes, guys, go ahead. You're doing awesome. Yeah, yeah, you're adding this little piece right here is really it is. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, if you're using a 4 square. Yep.
Next slide is our new HBL DS series disconnects. So let's go to the next slide so you can see the difference. So the legacy product is on the right. It was a rectangular box. Had a lot of customers in food and bev that didn't want to. So we have a stainless steel option that had a slope top. Food and bev, it was nice because the water would fall off when they spraying it down in their facilities. A lot of people were asking for a non-metallic slope top disconnect. So instead of Hubbell continuing to make the rectangular version and a non-metallic slope top, we just decided to switch everything over to the slope top disconnect switch. So if your customers are buying or have been buying the legacy product, just know that Hubbell is no longer selling that. So they will get this product. So say your HBL DS3, if you sell that off the shelf, the new part number is an HBL DS30.
It has the exact same footprint. So the mounting on the back, this part is identical to the HBL. So if they've got an HBL DS3 and they want to put a 30 in there, they want to replace it with this, it'll fit right onto the footprint that they already have. So that doesn't change. There is still an option too for the top if they want to top mount it, where on these we flatten the top just a little bit so that they can actually put a connector into the top.
Which is another partner. I think it's add a TT onto the end of it.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically it looks like this, like you see on the side, where this indents a little bit. That's what we do up on the top.
You want to talk about the
And then, yeah, the insight part of it, the other big change in this, and I don't know if this thing's connected or not, but we changed the cover. As far as how this connects, it used to be you had to wire these in if you were going to use the LEDs, and it took up a bunch of room in the bottom of the disconnect. So what we did was we changed it so these are little plungers that actually hit the contactor on the inside. So, and the other option too is now if it's on, you can't take the cover off. So that's another safety option that we added. So you actually have to have it shut off before you can open it. But with the LEDs are nice because it'll tell you line and load. And then if you do shut it off and one of them stays on, you've got a welded contact. So it will tell you that also. Yeah, it won't come off.
That is the HBL DS series. So 30, 60, 100 amp. That's what we have in this. So.
That's our biggest SKU. I mean, it used to be the HBL 5266C, the little connectors, the male and female connectors. We actually sell more of the DS, well, DS30 now, but the HBL DS3s and 30s, more units. Yeah. Yep.
Significant.
Yeah. Significant.
Next one. This one is very new to Hubbell, so not a lot of you guys have probably seen this one. But this is our new line safe breakaway connector. So it's a plug-in connector.
Oh, Lord.
The reason why we made this was to prevent equipment damage.
Magnetic.
We had some customers that had refrigerated trucks that they were having issues. They were plugging their trucks in at night to keep them powered. Next morning, the driver would get in the truck and drive away while they were still plugged in. They were ripping the back boxes off the walls, causing a bunch of damage, a bunch of downtime. So Hubbell decided, hey, let's make a breakaway plug-in connector that you actually just install in line of your current setup. And when the driver does accidentally drive away, it's a magnet plug-in connector, so it just breaks off, preventing damage. Here's a video. Hopefully this works to show you all how it works. There it is. Driver drives off and it just comes unplugged. It's got about 140 pounds of pull out force, so it's hard to just pull out. Like Brian and I, if we both put it on each end, we could not pull it apart.
You actually have to get it. So, yeah, put them together and give it a whirl. It is tough, but I mean, a truck pulling away is going to have no problem.
So it's got a lot of pullout force. Concern of people's was, is it just gonna fall apart? That answers your question. It will not. It is IP69K rated. So another concern is, this, with this being outside, is it gonna last? Yes, it is. It's not IP69K rated. We do have that rubber seal on the outside of it so that when and if someone does drive off, it does protect your internal mechanisms. Yeah, you gotta crack it over your leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull them both down. Don't try to twist them.
You just take, like, you could put it on your chest. And
Well,
right
no, but go back one slide. They shouldn't be driving away that with it where they're supposed to be before they drive away.
Yeah.
They should be disconnecting it here. So that, so
No.
the biggest thing is, I mean, you see a lot of these, there's disconnects on there, but a lot of the places use mechanical interlocks. So, and a mechanical interlock is like $1,500. You rip that off the wall, I mean, these things are like $200 a piece. So you spend $400, or do you want, they're showing a regular disconnect. At most places you'll find they're using our mechanical interlocks, which are very expensive. And you rip one of those off the wall, $1,500 is hard to choke down, where this would save that from happening and you spend 400. So. Yeah. This does come with an aux contact also. There's an aux contact in this, so that, because in those trucks like you're talking about, they actually, they'll have a light that comes on if they've forgotten to disconnect, or if they do something like that. Same thing here. If they do that and they pull that cord off that light, they can set it up so that that light comes on. Most of the trucks are set up with that now. It comes standard in them.
So like I said, this originally came out because we had a customer that had refrigerated trucks that was looking for these, but one of our biggest customers in Chicago, they have electric lawnmowers and they're having the same issue. They bought 100 of these. When I was down in Indiana, we had a customer who it was a limestone quarry, and they were plugging their engine block heaters up with stuff, and they bought those for that because they're having the same issue. Ambulance bays, there's a bunch of different use cases for this product.
Didn't you, and this is for my team, didn't John Ball call you on this after you came into the sales meeting and presented it? He was at Ford, showed the guy the cut sheet, and the guy was like, I need these. And I don't know what the application was.
That was Doug.
That was Doug, yeah.
That's when Doug was here in the very beginning. He brought that. It was like a sample at the time.
Okay.
That was-
Okay.
Yeah, that was probably last summer, because that was because these things just launched. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the last meeting Doug was here with us,
Okay.
and you were here,
I think it was August,
and he showed up.
because I think I came to that one too. I'm pretty sure it was August.
Okay. But that just being said, there are applications. John showed the guy the cut sheet and he was like, get me these.
Yeah, there's a lot more than you'd think. If they're plugging anything in, like you say, they don't like to replace those things. And if they've got something, they'll spend a little bit of money to keep from having to replace them all the time.
Sales calls with you guys, I'll just bring it up to the customer and say, hey, do you potentially have a need for this? And they might not, but it's worth asking, because you really never know. They very well could. So
Can you get us like stack of cut sheets?
Sure,
So that
absolutely.
my guys have
yeah,
8 or 10 of them on them.
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
absolutely. We always love going on sales calls with you guys, so just let us know.
So if you had something like that in a single conductor for high-low chargers, now you're really talking, because those guys, auto plants have about 300 of them.
And they don't ever unplug them.
Program, and you hop on those machines,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and off goes the whole thing.
Because usually the high-low drivers are retarded, that's why.
Crazy. But a single-
Paul, what do you think?
No, I like it good. Fred, you're very
Apologies.
Yeah.
Big power. It's the whole thing. Happens a lot. I can see it.
If you want, you and I, we could develop a product and start our own business. We don't have to tell Hubbell about it. We could do, we make a bunch of money.
Do they only go to 6%?
Yeah, right.
Take into account the arc that you're gonna get when that thing pulls up, though.
Yeah. So yeah, right now, what Hubbell does is they'll do their initial launching, get feedback from the market, and then build based off that. So yeah, right now we go up to 60 amp, up to 480 volt. We have 3 and 4 wire configurations. But we always want feedback from you guys to see what we can, where else we could use this. So if you guys have any ideas in different configurations that your customers could benefit from, let us know and we can bring it back to Hubbell. And what I found out, I've been with Hubbell for 3 years now. What I've learned is they're really good at taking feedback from customers and trying to make things based off of that. So if you guys have any
Yeah, and if there's a change, it's a lot easier once a product like this is launched to come up with something new. Because I mean, every time you do something, you have to go back through UL. And, after coming from the distributor world, going into this, and as well as anybody, I cannot believe what UL does to manufacturers and what they charge. It's ridiculous. And they take their time and you have no control. But once you get it started and you've already got it in the system, then it's easy. If we need to come up with a 20 amp version or a 100 amp version or something, then it's a lot easier to do. So now that we have it out.
You do get people.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing to me how much they charge. You start hearing that and you're like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, anywhere from the low end is about 50 grand and it goes up to $250,000, $300,000 to get something UL listed.
on the breakaway plugs and connectors.
This is a nice extra sell. I mean, if you get in somewhere and, they're complaining or you just show it to them, they're like, oh my God, I got to take you out back. Let's go take a look at the bays we've got out back, see if it'll work. I mean, it's an easy extra sell, or upsell.
Yeah, we'll get you guys a bunch of brochures, if you guys want to bring in customers, just see if there's an opportunity. It's a good product, so. There's that. Next is our Advantage Series pin and sleeve, which I'm sure most of you guys have heard about at this point.
I can actually
Brian, you wanna?
plug it in. I'll show you here. If you want to talk, I'll be your Vanna White here. So
our Advantage Series pin and sleeve is,
you've probably seen the Meltrick version. I mean, everybody saw it because the Meltrick came out with it first, but it's the same basic concept. You plug it in, get it right here, and once it connects, you've got LEDs on either side to tell you that there's power. Disconnect, goes away, but the ground is the first to mate and the last to break. No arc flash. So it's a great product for that, but ours is IEC pin and sleeve. Meltrick is proprietary. It's like Russell Stoll. Anybody who's been in this business long enough, Russell Stoll is, oh, I'll tell you that in a second. But thank you for asking. No, Russell Stoll has been a thorn in everybody's side forever, and it's really bad now. I mean, when you got 26 to 30 week lead times to get anything out of them, everybody's gone away from them. That's how Meltrick got involved. Now we came out with this. With IEC pin and sleeve means you don't have to have a Hubbell connector, the male. Ours will mate with anybody's. So if they've already got an installed base and they just need either the connector or the receptacle end, they can put it in and use it with Leviton, PNS, Aeroheart, anybody who makes an IEC pin and sleeve, male, it'll mate to it. We prefer you to use ours, but if they've already got it in, you can still sell it to them because then they don't have to take the other end off.
Installed and you have to tell them, hey, you have to rip everything out. Use our support. So I think what's nice is we are IEC, and to me that means that we stand behind the product and we're confident that we're going to be able to service the customer. And if we don't, unfortunately, then hey, you guys have other options. So, and your customer's not stuck with long lead times.
I'm not a big fan of companies that make proprietary items, especially in the electrical industry, because Okay, I ran into this. I had a company call me out of Kalamazoo and they had it all over in their factory. And Meltrick was at a 12-week lead time. And the lady who called me on the phone, she goes, "We have 2 lines down." She goes, "We can't wait. And we don't have anything." I said, "I've got them. You're just going to have to cut the ends off." She goes, "Fine." Sold them to them. Now over the years, they've been slowly changing out the entire factory. As they go bad, they just take out the Meltrick and they put in ours. Yep.
Actors hanging over the bins in McDonald's. You could see 8 or 10 of them hanging out there. That was sold not only on the interchangeability, but on the color coding. Because you got a bunch of high school kids in there and they know that red goes to red and blue goes to blue and yellow goes to yellow. Made it very simple and very safe. But also because they knew that if Hubbell was out, they could go to Phoenix, go to
Yep.
Lebanon.
But just so you know, they are all Hubbell.
Right.
We have the contract with
Right.
McDonald's.
They were the biggest buyer of the pin and sleeve in the country.
High school kids.
There you go. Yeah, and you can't plug the wrong connector into the wrong receptacle. Whoever else is IEC, so
Lebanon,
Lebanon,
Patrick Seymour, Arrowheart,
Yep.
and there's probably a few off-brand.
Manicus, I think they make some. There's a few others, but yeah, they're all color coded the same. Yep. Yeah, right here. There's a. Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and they're so hard to take apart. Keep packs them every now and then.
Well, and the nice thing too about these, and I don't know if you guys have ever seen the video, and I don't even know if it's still out there, but YouTube Hubbell pin and sleeve. And there's a video that Hubbell did years ago at our Arden, the facility, the warehouse facility, where they took and they drove semis over these things, loaded semis, and it didn't break them. Yep. Though there's always a way, but it's a funny video to watch because you're like, oh, I can't believe they did this. And they run over it again, and nothing happens to it. So, no, it's a good product, and I can't believe it. Meltrick was smart. They came out with it and they got it in everywhere. And then once you get something in that's proprietary, they went the way of Russell Stoll. And I mean, probably one of the best examples of Russell Stoll was Doug and I here through Madison went over to the GM Tech Center and got them to change the spec for the mechanical interlocks and the connectors on the end. That spec has reached out to the entire country. So that's huge. And they did. They're like, we can't wait 28 weeks. So even if we're back ordered on them, it's usually only 6 or 8 weeks. So yeah. Yep. Yep. They did get that fixed. Yep. Send everything out there too. So yeah.
Dude, just
And
a
I'm
little slide
standing away.
comparing the two. I don't want to say bad things about the competitor, but this is just the advantages of Hubbell. So I see we do have better horsepower ratings.
That's probably one of the biggest things. I mean, you run into because their horsepower ratings at Meltrick is nowhere near ours. And if you run into that, especially if you're doing stuff at Ford, GM, they were like that, that's very important to them.
Talked about the indicator lights. Size pin. We said first to mate. last to break. There's another one. So any questions on that Advantage Series pin and sleeve? No? Okay. Does it?